ARK Space Exploration ETF review. Okay guys, so we're going to talk about the latest, newest ARK Invest ETF. So we really don't talk a lot about too many ETFs on this channel. This is usually a growth stock channel. But I really like what Cathie is doing, and she makes it really easy to kind of invest in a lot of the growth companies that we're talking about on this channel in one ETF. So if you don't have a lot of time to do a lot of research and you're strapped on time, you have other obligations with work, school, family, kids, or whatever, ARK Invest is a great firm that you can buy these ETFs with reasonable expense ratios. So we're going to talk about their newest launched ETF. This was launched today on Tuesday. It's called the ARK Space Exploration ETF, ticker symbol ARKX, guys. So we're going to talk a lot about this. Before we get into the video, probably your last chance to get your 2 free stocks on Webull. This offer is set to expire on March 31st. All you have to do is click the link in the description below and go to a Webull, or you can go to investortrip.com/Webull, and all you have to do is open a brokerage account and deposit at least $100 to get your 2 free stocks up to $1,850, guys. So I use Webull every day. It's my favorite Robinhood alternative, so be sure to grab your free stocks. Okay, so let's talk more about ARKX. So this is actually trending on Yahoo Finance, and I really thought it was interesting. We're going to talk a lot about ETFs more probably in the future of this channel, simply because it's really easy way to invest in growth. And ARK Invest, this is what they specialize on. They specialize on ETFs. Most of these ETFs don't pay dividends, so these are mostly growth stocks, very disruptive. And this ETF in particular is disruptive in the space exploration space. So let's take a dive into the news story. So this was posted on CNBC. This was posted a few hours, just over a couple of minutes ago. So as you can see here, it says trading in ARKX, a new space exploration ETF from ARK Invest. It says Cathie Wood's firm looks to tap the growing space industry, with ARK analyst Sam Kuruz telling CNBC that space is already an invisible backbone to our economy, and we think that's only going to become more so. So this ETF is featuring 39 stocks, including pure play space companies like Iridium and Virgin Galactic, as well as defense and aerospace giants such as Kratos, L3Harris, Lockheed Martin, and Boeing. So this is a really interesting a growth ETF. We're going to dig into the details a bit more. So let's just read a little bit more of the article. So as you can see here, it also is going to include some other names as well, including some Chinese e-commerce firms like JD and Alibaba, and agriculture businesses like Trimble and Deere. So it says, we've all seen the memes going around on Twitter. The fact that people are dismissing this out of hand is very reassuring to us, and kind of demonstrates the type of research we're doing and how we can be unique. And then also the ETF also includes Netflix as well. So this is a really interesting ETF. I really haven't seen a mix of these type of companies before. There are actually probably a few dividend paying stocks in this ETF as well. We all know Boeing used to pay a dividend. I guess they suspended it due to the pandemic, but they're all quite an interesting mix of companies here. So let's take a look at the ETF in depth. So here we are. You can check this out. I'm going to link to this page in the description, so you guys can check out. This is the basically the main page, and it's going to like I said, it launched today, so really interesting. So let's take a look at some of these companies. Orbital Aerospace companies. That's companies that launch, make, service, or operate platforms in the orbital space, including satellites and launch vehicles. Suborbital aerospace companies. Companies that launch, make, service, and operate platforms in the suborbital space but do not reach a velocity needed to remain in orbit or around the planet. Enabling technology companies are companies that develop technologies used by space exploration related companies for successful value add aerospace operations. These include operations including artificial intelligence, that's AI, robotics, 3D printing, materials, and energy storage. And finally, aerospace beneficiary companies are companies whose operations stand to benefit from aerospace activities, including agricultural, internet access, global positioning systems, construction, imaging, drones, air taxis, and electric air aviation vehicles. So this is especially the category that I'm interested in, because if you guys have been watching my channel, we've talked a lot about these electric aviation companies. And main one I just mentioned earlier was Archer Aviation, ticker symbol ACIC. Drones as well, air taxi companies. This is all futuristic stuff. And, you know, I'm not really an expert in space exploration, so this is one of the reasons why we're going to talk more about these companies in the future. But right now, I wanted to give you guys a heads up on this ETF. So let's give some of the breakdown. So the expense ratio is 0.75%. So that means just under 1%. It's just an expense ratio. That's basically their fee that ARK is charging you to you know, manage this portfolio. So it's not that much money. So let's say this ETF gets like a 20% return, then your total return would be like 19.25%. So not so much. Obviously, it's going to add up if you have, you know, millions and, you know, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in this ETF. But, you know, I definitely think, you know, instead of buying all of these companies individually, you can save a lot of time and just grab the ETF. It makes a lot more sense. So let's look at the top 10 holdings. So we have Trimble, the 3D printing ETF, Kratos, L3 Harris, JD, Komatsu, Lockheed Martin, Iridium, Thales, and Boeing. It's a very interesting mix of companies. You can see the breakdown of the shares held. So what kind of returns can we expect on this ETF? Well, obviously, you know, the past isn't indicative of the future, but ARK has done really, really well. So let's take a look at their main ETF. So as you can see here, this was probably one of the ETFs that made ARK famous with their ARK Innovation ETF. And ARK Innovation ETF has done really great. So you can see here, year to date, it's up 52%. So that was from last year, of course. So that's what the fund did last year. And then the 1 year performance, of course, 152%. 3-year performance, 52%, 5 years, 45%, and since inception, which is what I usually like to look at. I think it's the best, most conservative number, about 36% return. So you're getting about 36% of your return on your money. And you can see the mix of the companies here. So obviously the companies are quite different, but you know, when it comes to Cathie Wood, she was really, really bullish about Tesla stock before anyone else was talking about it. She was very bullish on Roku. She was bullish on Teladoc. And she was bullish on Zoom. So, you know, this lady's firm, she really seems to be a year or two ahead of everyone. So when I talk about companies like Tesla, you know, Tesla, Square, these are companies that are usually a year ahead or two of the market. So the fact that she's investing all this money in space exploration, there must be something behind it. So we don't know what the returns are going to be, but her ETFs have done pretty well in the past. So I wouldn't bet against her. So now let's take a look at the entire breakdown of the firms in the ETF. So there's about 38 companies listed here. So we already read the top 10. Here's Amazon. Amazon's here. Google. Wow, Google's in this ETF. That's interesting. Virgin Galactic, we mentioned before. Airbus, Netflix, Honeywell, Heiko, Workhorse Group. Now that's an interesting Workhorse Group. I guess they're put them in the ETF because of their you know, their drone system, how they're going to use deliveries and stuff. And that's very interesting because Workhorse stock has absolutely been crushed. Some other names: Taiwan Semiconductor, Synopsys, Tencent Holdings, that's another ADR, Autodesk, Reinvent Technology, RTP. Okay, that is Joby Aviation. We're going to have to talk about Joby Aviation probably in an upcoming video, because when I published the video on Archer, a lot of you in the comments were saying Joby Aviation was a much better buy. So we're going to talk about Joby Aviation. And finally, Atlas Crest Investment Corp. That is the one I just spoke about earlier, Archer. So that's the smallest holding here. So they added some shares of that. So this is a nice overall mix of companies. You know, obviously you got to do your own due diligence. You can easily just head over to Yahoo Finance and research a lot of these companies. That's usually what I like to do. I also like to read articles, you know, CNBC, Market Watch, Wall Street Journal. Those are some great places. And also YouTube. A lot of people on YouTube, just like myself, they post excellent content about these videos. But one of the reasons why I like ETFs like ARK Invest is just so easy to park your money and, you know, get a decent return. You know, like I said, Cathie Wood, her firm is really excellent. She was basically the top ETF manager in 2020 for a good reason. She was so bullish on Tesla. So the fact that she's already investing a bunch of money in space exploration, I wouldn't bet against her. I think this is a good bang for your buck. So guys, let's kind of wrap things up here. We talked a lot about the ETF review. Now, right here, now we're sitting at a price of around $20.36. You know, obviously a lot of her other ETFs are trading for a lot more. So as you can see here, we take a look here on the sidebar. We can see ARK Autonomous Technology is trading at 82. ARK FinTech is at 49. So, this could be a nice opportunity to kind of get it on the ground floor. The ETF actually traded down on its first trading day, so 20 bucks, not a ton of money. If space exploration pays off, I think that this ETF could be a pretty solid buy in the future. So I would say, I don't bet against Cathie Wood. She has a ridiculous Tesla's price target out there. She's been right. She was right about Bitcoin. She's right about Tesla. She's been right about Spotify, Roku. I can't remember an instance where she was betting with a high growth company and she was wrong. So I think this is a decent buy. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video on my ARK Space Exploration ETF review. If you enjoy my content, please smash this red subscribe button to receive more videos from me. And like I said, check out my daily stock watch newsletter and my private Discord chat as well. So that's it. Until next time, guys. Take care.